What's going on, people? Thank you for once again tuning into my channel and watching my videos. Now, there's a lot to digest in this video, given that I do think we're on the brink of confirming our wave 2 that we've been tracking over the last couple of weeks. Now, in my previous video, we were looking at two targets in particular. We were looking at this upper target sitting between 81 cents and 82 cents, and we were looking at this lower target sitting between 72 cents and 74 cents. Now, as for this upper target, during the time of recording, which was around 7 o'clock in the morning, so around here, we did anticipate that there was going to be one more move to the upside before finding rejection, given that we did see a price action of over 10% to the upside. And so, people are going to be taking profits within those ranges. And as you can see, we ended up finding rejection at that 81 cent level, and we ended up failing to find support at the 50 EMA and 200 EMA, which is a bearish signal. And we did end up retesting those EMA levels once again before finding rejection, and here we are now on a move to the downside. Now, this lower target is part of a WXYZ structure that we are currently tracking, which looks something like this, to draw it up for you guys, just to make it a little bit more clearer. So it looks something like this, and this is part of a wave Z target that we're tracking, and within this wave Z, it looks like there is a WXY setup, which looks something like this. And so what we can do now is target out our wave Y, and our wave Y is typically a 1 to 1.236 retracement of our wave W. And so using the Fibonacci retracement tool and moving this along, it looks like our wave Y would sit between 70 cents and 72 cents. So anywhere within this region here is where I anticipate our wave Y will reach. And so there is more room to the downside. And as you can see, the price of ADA is on the brink of reaching those targets. Now, one thing to note is we have breached our local low, which was at 73 cents. And so that's a bearish signal. In addition to that, we have seen a break of structure on our smart money concept. And there is a weak low as well that's being signaled. And so everything is essentially signaling that there is more room to the downside, and the bears do have the momentum. Now, within this wave Y that we're currently tracking, it does look to be like a 5-wave move to the downside. So just to give you an idea of what that would look like, you have a wave 1, wave 2, and then you have a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. Now, to do our sense checks to see if our wave 3 has been confirmed, our wave 3 is typically a 1.618 retracement of our wave 1. And so, yeah, as you can see, we have met our minimum target. But what I'll do is I'll remove some of this now just to make it a little bit more clearer. Yeah, you can see that 1.618 level sitting at 73 cents. That's been breached, and we are potentially within our wave 4 now to the upside before we see another move to the downside, where we can confirm our wave 5 of our wave Y of our wave Z of our WXYZ structure. Now, in addition to that, what we have seen as well is our 50 EMA cross the 200 EMA, and that's also another bearish signal. And as you can see, shortly after the 50 EMA crossing the 200 EMA, we have seen moves to the downside, and so far we have seen a price action of about 8% to the downside, and there is more room to the downside, potentially reaching, within that 10% range once again. Now, within those ranges, the 70 cent level to 72 cents, I do anticipate there being a lot of buying pressure. And so once again, it's going to be a good opportunity to be buying in at these prices. Now, one thing to note is on the stochastic RSI, we are oversold, and so there is some room to the upside, and potentially that coincides with our wave 4 that we're currently looking at. And so, yeah, I do anticipate there being some volatility within the next couple of days. And yeah, so it's going to be interesting to track, but I will keep you guys updated. Now, moving over to the 4-hour chart. Now, on the 4-hour chart, we are below the 200 EMA and the 50 EMA, which is another bearish signal. And one thing to note is we are also reaching that oversold region. And so that does confirm that there is more room to the downside, where we could potentially see ADA reach those targets between 70 cents and 72 cents. We have seen also, once again, on smart money concept that there is a break of structure, which is a bearish signal. And so, yeah, the bears do have the momentum as things stand at the moment. Now, smart money concept is indicating that there is a weak low at that 65-cent range. And, we do have our fair value gap between 65 cents and 68 cents. However, I don't see us reaching these targets personally. Of course, anything can happen. Maybe we could wick into this region here. But personally, I don't see that happening. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to track this nevertheless. Now, on the daily chart, we are currently sitting above the 200 EMA. However, we did see a wick below the 200 EMA. Now, what is going to be interesting to see is if we close below the 200 EMA or we just continue to see a wick below the 200 EMA, where we could potentially see this wick breach this target that we are currently looking at. Now, on the stochastic RSI, we are currently within that overbought region, and so there is more room to the downside. And so, once again, there is potential that we could reach these targets over here between 70 cents and 72 cents. And so, yeah, that's just my quick update on Cardano ADA. We are currently bearish as things stand, and there is some room to the downside. But once again, I do think that we are on the brink of confirming our wave 2 before we start to, target out our wave 3, which will be within that $1 range. And so, anywhere within that 70-cent range to 72 cents, or anywhere now really is a good opportunity to be buying in, given that, I do see more room to the upside. And so, yeah, thanks again, guys, for tuning in. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe and give it a like. Take it easy, people. Peace.